Hey everybody, it's Leero from Leero Gaming, and in today's Baldur's Gate 3 guide, we're going to take a look at my top 5 favorite feats in Baldur's Gate 3. Now, this is a subjective list based off of my opinions and my experiences. You may not agree with all my options, and I feel like at least one of these on my top 5 list may potentially surprise you. So definitely would love to hear your feedback in the comments below. If you agree, disagree, and if you have a dramatically different list, I'd love to see that list, and I will do my best to respond to those comments as I see them. Now, without further ado, let's go ahead and take a look at my top 5 feats in Baldur's Gate 3. Alright guys, number 1 should probably not be a surprise to anybody, and that is ability improvements. This is extremely diverse. You can either choose to increase one ability by 2 or 2 by 1, and you could basically choose this every single time and probably not go wrong, as stats are the key to everything, whether it's increasing your chance to hit and do damage, increasing saving throws, increasing AC, or dictating how hard it is for enemies to resist the effects of your spells. If in doubt and you're not sure, go with ability improvements. You literally cannot go wrong, and therefore overall the most useful feat selection in Baldur's Gate 3. Now, option number 2 has technically 2 variants, and they're both really powerful. In fact, if they weren't situational, they'd probably be number 1 on the list, and that is Great Weapon Master or Sharpshooter. They do a similar effect, but for 2 different types of weapons. Great Weapon Master has 2 effects. Number 1, when you land a critical hit or kill a target with a melee weapon attack, you can make another melee weapon attack as a bonus action that turn. This is extremely powerful and can easily have the biggest impact on your DPS increase of any other singular feat. But that's not all, because this feat also makes it when you attack with heavy melee weapons that you're proficient in, you can deal an additional 10 damage at the cost of a -5 to attack roll penalty. While that -5 can be harsh, if you can figure out a way to have advantage on your attacks, that -5 can almost completely be negated. What's great also is you can turn this on or off at any given time, even changing from round to round or attack to attack. So if you wish, you can disable it or enable it. Regardless, plus 10 damage to any given hit is extremely impactful and cannot be overlooked. Sharpshooter is the range equivalent or the closest one to it. While you do not get an extra attack, you do negate negative effects of high ground rules, meaning if you are shooting up at something, you don't get the negative penalties to hit. In addition, you can still do that same passive where you can take a -5 penalty to an attack roll to deal an additional 10 damage. This is so powerful, especially with range attacks, as you can take advantage of height to help you be more effective with hitting, so that plus 10 damage is even more easily obtainable. An absolute must take for anybody focusing on ranged damage. Alright guys, number 3 may surprise some people, but for me it is not a surprise at all, and especially those that have been playing for a while, and that is Warcaster. The main effect we care about is the first part. You gain advantage on saving throws to maintain concentration on a spell. For those of you that don't know about this, if a spell has a concentration component, you maintain it, but if you take damage, you have to do a saving throw, and if you fail it, you will lose concentration on that spell and lose the effect. Whether it's extra AC, or if it's an offensive spell that you can cast again and again, round after round, without having to reuse a spell slot, losing concentration, losing that effect can be extremely costly. So being able to roll twice on those saving throws is absolutely critical and can make it so that your likeliness of keeping a concentration spell going goes through the roof. You do have also the bonus of using the reaction to cast Shocking Grasp, but honestly, I rarely pick that choice. That is not the reason you get this. Alright guys, number 4 is also for you casters out there, and that is Elemental Adept. Don't sleep on this as you go into harder areas of the game, especially where you're going to see enemies more commonly with resistances. What this does is your spells ignore resistance to damage type that you choose, and also when you cast spells of that type, you cannot roll a 1. When you have multiple dice you're rolling, that can definitely help out and have a pretty decent impact on how much extra damage you may get. But ignoring the resistance is huge. Do note, if something is immune to a damage, you are still out of luck, but so many more enemies have resistance versus immunity that this actually comes in handy quite a bit. So don't sleep on this, especially if you're trying to focus on mainly one type of spells. And finally we have number 5. And while this particular feat is the most situational on my list, the reality is that if you have a build that utilizes this feat, it is super important and powerful, and that is Tavern Brawler, my friends. Now, what this says and what it does is, first of all, it's going to give you +1 to strength or constitution. This is great. But more importantly, when you make an unarmed attack, use an improvised weapon, or throw something, your strength modifier is added twice to the damage and attack rolls. The main things we care about here is unarmed attacks or thrown objects. So if you're going to go, for example, for a strength-based monk, or if you're a Circle of the Moon druid especially, and you're transforming into animals, both of those type of unarmed attacks, we will benefit from this. This is huge. Let's say if you have 20 strength, that is a +5 bonus to hit and damage. All of a sudden, that turns to a +10 to hit and +10 to damage on all of those unarmed attacks. Or if you're especially a barbarian, let's say, that has a throw build, well, thrown items right there, you're probably going to have a very high strength value, and hence you're going to have way more to hit on those thrown attacks, way more to damage, extremely potent in those situational scenarios. Alright guys, so there you have it. That is my personal list of the top 5 feats in Baldur's Gate. Do you agree with me? Do you not agree with me? Let me know in the comments below, and share with me some of your favorite feats in Baldur's Gate 3. As always guys, make sure to drop a like if you found this video helpful. If you want to see more videos from me, make sure to subscribe. And as always, thank you for all the support, and I'll see you guys in my next video.